Mrs. Clinton attacking Trump, saying he hasn't offered any credible solutions for the very real economic challenges we face, and continuing her criticism that he doesn't actually make anything in America. Here now, my colleagues from the Fox Business Network, Liz Claman, anchor of Countdown to the Closing Bell and After the Bell, and senior correspondent Charlie Gasparino. Great to have you both here. All right, she had 4 or 5 main things she hit on. Liz, one of them was she talked about the largest investment in good-paying jobs since World War II, and she said she's going to work with both parties and get it done. Well, hasn't happened so far.
Okay, that is absolutely true. That hasn't happened so far, but that's a very easy statement to throw out. We're going to make an investment in good-paying jobs. You know, President George W. Bush did a lot of job training, and you see what happened. It wasn't really exactly working. We need more granularity or detail on all of this, but I found this a fascinating speech because it was very populist, but it was mixed with some things that really mirrored what Donald Trump has talked about, whether it's infrastructure or certain tax changes for working families. And of course, as you look at all of this, you say, well, are they more different or are they more similar?
Yeah, there were definitely some parallels there that we saw. And Charlie, one of the biggest lines that she got was going after the wealthy Wall Street and big corporations, making sure they pay their fair share. We talked a little bit about exactly who's paying what. I mean, the top 1% in this country paying, you know, according to Tax Policy Center, 43.6% of the taxes, and half the country paying none at all.
Right, and a lot of that top 1% that's paying that are small businesses, which he conveniently left out. They filed. I mean, listen, there's a small business where me as a freelance writer, I sign up, do my tax codes as subchapter S or as an individual, and I consider myself a small business. We're talking about small businesses that basically employ most of the people in the country, fall within that sweet spot that she's absolutely going to crush. She will crush small businesses with this plan. There's no way around it. Her taxes, I guess her upper rate starts at something like $700,000 a year, which is right where those small businesses that employ most of the people are. It's pretty, listen, I thought it was an effective speech because it was a lot of ad hominems on Donald Trump and things of that nature, but it was really light on the details. I mean, you know, it was basically, she really didn't get into like taxes. She said, I'm going to tax the rich. She didn't say how and who are those rich people. By the way, you know, Barack Obama at least said that he considered a rich family at $250,000 a year, family of 4, and they could be living in Long Island or any place else. But he considered that rich. He at least spelled that out. She is not spelling out numbers, which means that she knows he's vulnerable on that issue.
But guess what, Shannon? Both of these people have not figured out a way to bring down the deficit, which was a big clarion call over the past several years, this ballooning deficit at $1 trillion. You look at how these have been scored. Both of their plans over 10 years absolutely add to the deficit. Ironically, Donald Trump's adds something like $10 to $12 trillion over 10 years. Hers adds several hundred billion. But what's fascinating is neither of them really talks about really big detail on how it would spur growth. That's what we need right now.
Interesting that she talked about today. She said she wants to work on things that will unleash private industry. But one of the main criticisms of her is that she's big on regulation.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's totally hypocritical from that standpoint. Listen, I think they both deserve criticism because they're not talking about entitlement reform and some other issues like that. I think they deserve criticism by going after infrastructure, which is ridiculous. I mean, Barack Obama tried that in 2009, and guess what? Nothing happened.
And both are proposing big packages that would cost a lot of money.
But where she is really duplicitous is on taxes, where she won't say how small businesses will get screwed, and on regulations. Regulations is choking the banking industry. They're not lending money to small businesses. It's choking the environmental regulations. Is choking businesses. Obamacare is choking small businesses because if you hire over a certain amount of people, you get hit with these Obamacare taxes, and that forces businesses
to keep the hiring down. Right now?
But that's regulations. Let me tell you something. Regulations is a big thing.
There's a real world cost
to it,
all the
and
time,
she won't even go near there.
Well, you have viewers right now who have thought of business ideas, then they try to attack it and open it. The regulation is so onerous, it's like choking on red tape. She really talked about more regulation. Specifically, she talked about for Wall Street. I'm not sure that resonates with your viewers.
But environmental. She's for environmental regulations.
Talk about
it all costs money.
Him, and he wants to cut regulation that is non-safety related. That is really, really nice for certain people trying to start businesses to hear.
Yeah, I mean, he's really strong on the regulations side. I mean, listen, I could criticize Donald. We did it already, and we're fair and balanced here. We're working on Hillary now. But, you know, he is really strong on regulations. If you take out some of Dodd-Frank, guess what? Banks can lend to small businesses again.
Well, and research shows, I mean, factual, nonpartisan research shows it's tens of thousands of dollars in cost to the average family every year. So it adds up. Thank you both for lending us your expertise
Anytime.
You're
today out of
welcome.
that speech.